kind of being delayed by you know, God knows how long, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be a few more weeks, won't it? They're saying 3 weeks, but I've been feeling a bit more than that, you know.
Yeah, it's one of those drag it out 3 weeks at a time scenarios.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, all our gigs. I mean, I was in the States. You know, I was over there doing some shows with Danny B. Harvey, and it was just like less and less people at each show, you know.
Yeah.
And I got back in the nick of time, like 2 days before lockdown or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, then obviously I got back to the news that the Viva La Rock Awards was postponed as well, you know. And then all the shows by the Urban Voodoo Machine have just been moved to autumn, you know.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. I mean, we obviously didn't want to postpone the awards. We were sort of at the beginning hoping that because they weren't really closing the schools and stuff, they were delaying it so much. We were like, maybe we'll just scrape it in before this all goes into lockdown. Like, there was no way we could go ahead. So it's like,
yeah,
we're gonna do it in November instead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, luckily, you know, most of the artists could do it again. So, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
Feel sorry for so many bands that like have, you know, come back after a break or like, you know, had a few months off or a few years off, and then they were all gearing up for a special tour, and like so many special tours have been cancelled and a lot of hard work.
Yeah, I see a lot of the bigger tours. It's like they're moving it at almost a year, you know, or a year and a half in some cases, you know.
Yeah, like all the big festivals as well. They can't really delay those. I mean, they just have to miss an entire year's worth of like money coming in, don't they?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Most people can't afford that, can they?
No, yeah, it'll be here. Yeah, no, it's stressful. So how's Teddy? How's the family?
We're doing really well, actually. Yeah, it's the three of us, Anna, my wife, and our son Teddy, who's 6 years old. You know, we're lucky we have a garden and stuff like that, and you know, we have some parks and stuff by. So we don't go out every day, but we try to get some fresh air, and yeah, I've been doing weekly gigs, playing the albums in full, and I'm sort of thinking of different themes every week, so that's been going pretty good.
Yeah, man, excellent.
My wife Anna plays the tuba, the sousaphone, so she's been joining me. And yeah, I've been staying in touch with people that way, but it's definitely interesting times,
Yeah, you gotta like learn how to use technology. I mean, I've been so confused because I got like a DJ mixing desk, and I never done it live from my house, and all of a sudden, like the radio station I do a show on, and just like, oh, everyone's broadcasting live from their house. It's so easy. You just download this program and then you just plug in your mixer. And I was just like, I could not fucking figure it out. I was there for 7 hours, dude, like watching tutorials and looking at manuals, and I was just like, this does not work for me.
I'm all sweaty already because I've been running around plugging things in, and then I couldn't get the Instagram to work, and it was like, oh my God, I'm going to be on live on air in 2 minutes now, and I'm like, oh my God. And then you told me to download this other thing, and yeah. So I had like, running around the house swearing in a few different languages, And I had the same yesterday because I did another interview, and they wanted to do it on Zoom. I'm like, what? I haven't even heard of Zoom,
Yeah.
I didn't get into rock and roll to be a computer technician, but it is beautiful to be able to stay in touch with people, though. I got to say that.
Yeah, definitely. I've had the same thing. I've had like a few of these interviews, and some people were asking for Zoom, and I was like the same. They were like, I've emailed you, and you're going to be invited in, and then there's going to be 3 people, and you need this code. And I was like, oh my God. I'll just sit here and like call me if nothing's happening, because like I'm lost.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So yeah, you got a new single out, which came out this month. So
it's last Friday, actually. Yeah, and it was
Living in Fear.
Yeah, you guys had the exclusive premiere on that one.
Yeah,
the story with Living in Fear, it wasn't actually going to be released till next month, and we had a launch party in London lined up. We had a whole bunch of dates around the UK, and Yeah.
Yeah.
None of it was going to happen now. So we decided, because the title "Living in Fear," and since the whole world is literally living in fear now, we put the release forward. You know.
Yeah.
Which is the first time in certainly in our history we've ever done that.
Yeah.
And of course, it's a bit of a song for the times as well. I mean, it was written way before there was any, coronavirus. It's got references to the couple of great recent British scandals like Windrush and Grenfell and that.
Yeah.
And obviously, just a general feeling in the air at the moment with the rise of the right wing and Brexit and all that kind of thing. We're all living in fear. So that was kind of the thing behind the song, really. But now look at this. Wow.
Yeah. Living in your house in fear, even more
Exactly,
fear. Yeah.
So, would you like me to play it to you?
I would. I'd like a live concert. Let's get this going. We've got a load of people online that want to hear the new song.
Right.
You
Hello,
guys,
people.
they can. You guys can stream this one. It's on Spotify, and where else can these guys get it? Can they download it on your website?
Yeah, it's everywhere. And there's a killer video on YouTube as well. That's what was premiered on Viva La Rock last week.
Yeah.
And the video was actually all ready to go before this Corona bollocks came about. So there's just one little thing that we added into the video, and that's a photo of me with a face mask and gloves, and I got a sign going, "Wash your hands," just to reference.
Just to contextualize the whole thing. I like it.
Yes.
All right, dude. Take it away. Cheers.
Fellowship, I'm back to where they come from. Yeah, the ship and I'm back. Now it's all gone wrong. Living in fear. Oh, living in fear. The rich man's thirst, the poor man's dust. Living in fear. Well, it's hard to sleep in a plastic tower as you coming down in your darkest hour. Living in fear. Oh, living in fear. There's blood on the streets you can't afford to eat. Living in fear. Living in fear. Living in fear. Hail to the queen, the fascist regime. Living in fear. Someone tell me what's going on. But someone tell me, where do we go wrong? Living in fear. 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 Don't think twice. It's not alright to be living in fear. Living in fear. Living in fear. The rich woman's first. The poor woman's last. Living in fear.
Woo! Hell yeah!
Thank you,
Nice.
Kane. Thank you, Kane.
Woo! Thank
have
you.
one person clapping. I mean, normally that's quite unusual, because normally, you know, obviously when I do my home gigs here on Saturdays, I don't even have anyone clapping.
You got one clap, girl.
Well, that's something.
All right. That was awesome, man. Yeah, I love that. And then
Thank you.
I want to ask you about the other one that you did quite recently, Johnny Foreigner, with the Boris Johnson cover of him stabbing England as well.
Yeah, the world, actually.
Well, there's the world, and then he's stabbing into the world through England, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Tony Diablo did that, our guitar player. He's a fantastic artist, you know. So, yeah, good to talk to you. Stay in touch through all this, yeah?
Yeah, definitely, man. Should I ask you a few questions?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm not going anywhere. I mean,
No, I hope not. All right, so I'm going to go back to one of your older tracks now, Orphan's Lament. I'm going to read the lyrics out because I want to show everyone how fucked up they are, and then I'll ask you about them. So, my father was a sailor, my mother was a whore, and me, I was the accident made when he came ashore. Sent me to the orphanage when I was a baby, but it was too late. They said no one could save me. Some fucked up shit, dude.
Well, you know, yeah, I mean, it's there's a lot of truth in there, you know.
Yeah? Is that about... Yeah, tell me about, like, is that about your life? You're not an orphan, are you?
No, not as such. No. I mean, I met my I haven't seen my real mum since I was 13 because she was a psychopath, and I didn't meet my real dad till I was 15, and I've sort of been in between foster parents and all sorts, but not an orphan as such. No. But you know, a little bit of poetic license there, you know.
Yeah. So tell me a bit about when you was a kid. Like, how did music come into your life? Who was like encouraging you?
I think AC/DC was my first love, you know.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I mean, I think maybe like, you know, first bit of things I heard was like Elvis Presley and ABBA or whatever, and then, but that was kind of in my mother's collection, you know. But I just knew I was fascinated by music, so that was probably the first music I heard. Elvis and ABBA at sort of 6 or something like that, and then it was just like a few of the older boys had, you know, Kiss and AC/DC records, and I was like, wow. And when I heard AC/DC, I was just totally sold, you know. That was it, you know. It was all over then.
Epic, nice one. So
then, of course, when I was 14, it was like it was in a competition how to be an Angus Young lookalike in a magazine in Norway.
Yeah.
And you know, I had long brown hair at the time, and you know, I made sort of a school uniform. I basically cut my jeans off and put a tie on or whatever, you know, rocked out, you know. And I sent it in, and I won it. So in 1988 in Norway, I got to be on stage with AC/DC playing a cardboard cutout guitar, you know. Who made who?
That's
and
amazing.
That was kind of my first gig.
Yeah.
Not bad,
gave
is it?
you a taste for it. Yeah, it's a good place to start.
I was 14, you know, and it was my first gig. I played with AC/DC on stage. Might have only been a cardboard guitar, but, you know, I was actually on stage with them, being an Angus Young lookalike. And, yeah, all of a sudden I got very popular at school, because I wasn't very popular at school because, you know, I was just a, you know, rocker kid, you know. And all the ladies started liking me as well.
It's so rock and roll shit.
Yeah, so, you know, I lost my virginity thanks to AC/DC.
Yeah.
Not bad. And, you know, I guess that really sort of set me off, you know. I mean, I think I started playing the guitar around that sort of same time, and, you know, had band since I was about 14 or something, you know. And I've been starving ever since, but I've been having a fucking good time, though.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about the journey. Do you remember what your first bands were called?
Yeah, but there's no need to talk about that.
It's embarrassing.
Nameless Noise.
Nameless Noise on tour now.
Oh dear. These are very private, dark conversations.
So you play, like, you sing lead vocals, you play acoustic guitar, electric guitar, mandolin, banjo, harmonica on your albums. What do you like doing most?
What do I like the most? I don't know. I mean, I love the guitar. Just, you know, I like the different sounds of different guitars. You know.
Yeah.
And for some songs, it's just great to play Spanish guitar, and so, you know, other songs you want to have more of a twangy, bluesy sound, and you know, I mean, I love playing mandolin and banjo and stuff, you know, but the bastards to keep in tune. That's the only problem, you know. The fiddly little things, you know. I love the sound of them, but it's just that they're a nightmare, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love playing harmonica, you know. I guess playing harmonica sort of gets me around quite a bit as well, because, you know, I must have guested with 100 different bands playing the blues stuff.
Yeah, you can just slide on with it. You're like, oh,
it's really easy to travel with. You know what I mean? It's like you don't have to go very far. You know.
Yeah. So
you know,
tell me about how you came to England. What was the point where you realised you're like, if I'm going to do this music thing, I'm going to England?
Yeah, I mean, I just had a big love for British bands. You know, particularly the Stones. You know, and the Pistols, Dr. Feelgood. You know, there was a sort of a certain grit of Britishness that I liked more than American. You know, maybe certainly from the sort of 70s kind of, you know, era or whatever. You know, of course, rock and roll comes from America, but you know what I mean. But I'm talking about, like, I mean, I came here in 1992. You know, totally on my own. Had a bag of clothes, one hand. A couple of second-hand suits, you know.
Yeah.
You know, crappy Gibson guitar in my other hand, and 200 quid in my sock. And I didn't speak that great English. And Norway wasn't a part of or any union kind of things. I only had a tourist visa.
Yeah.
Great fucking start, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I found myself selling the Big Issue and stuff within a couple of months, living in squats and stuff. Yeah, probably it took a couple of years before I kind of, you know, I mean, I was just looking for anything really, you know. But after I've been here for a couple of years, I joined the Godfathers and I played with them for about 2-3 years.
Yeah.
I did one album with them and toured all over, you know, Europe and stuff with them. So that was, you know, quite a good start, you know.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I mean, yeah, the early 90s was kind of a crap time, though. It was there was no rock and roll in London. There really wasn't. You know, it was you walk into the marquee and it'd be a fucking rave on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, and it was. I mean, it was even just before Britpop and all that, because I mean, at least that had a couple of, you know, half decent things in it. But yeah, no, it was pretty lame. You know, it was yeah. I didn't even know what indie was. You know, I kept looking in Melody Maker and NME, you know, for like, you know, someone looking for a guitar player, or I wanted to form a band, and I kept seeing indie band everywhere, and I was like, it's a lot of Indians, you know. I was like, what's with this indie?
You were know? Like tuning your sitar, like, fuck this.
I'm gonna have to change, you know, swap that Gibson guitar for a sitar. I thought to myself, you know what I mean? But yeah, really, I was. I knew, you know, I knew rock and roll, I knew rhythm and blues, I knew punk rock, right? But the indie, no, I never heard it before, you know.
So, what made you like the like you said, you liked English punk bands, and your sound isn't. It's got like a punk attitude, but it's not a punk sound. So, what? Yeah, how do you like blend like the punk attitude with like the bluesy kind of American style?
I think it's just
you.
It's just me, and it is what I like. You know, I mean, I love the Pistols and I love the Clash. I mean, the Clash especially. I mean, they had a very rootsy sound certainly on a lot of the records. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Urban Voodoo Machine have 2 guitar players, but we don't sort of go full distortion kind of. I find it kind of more interesting to, you know, the horn section and, you know, acoustic guitars and, you know, keyboards and accordion and violin. You know, you know, we can still play, you know, hard-ish music with a kind of softish sound. If that makes sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I think certainly the way I sing and stuff is, and a lot of the subjects of the songs got a, it's a punk rock heart in there, definitely,
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, let's talk about your band. So anyone that's just tuned in, we're talking to Paul-Ronney Angel from the Urban Voodoo Machine. Welcome along. Yeah, he's just played a track for us. He's playing a couple of songs live here and there. We're just doing a little Q&A about his incredible career. This guy's done so much. I can't wait to ask him about the Viva La Rock Awards experience, hanging out with Susie Quattro, and then you met. You got a good Paul McCartney story. We're gonna ask it all later, but yeah, let's talk about
first.
Sure. So yeah, your band, like Bourbon Soaked Gypsy Blues, they go by. There's like 8 members. Is it 8 at the moment?
It varies. I mean, I guess you could say we're officially a 9-piece now, as per our last single, But it varies slightly, from show to show. But yeah, it's a hardcore about 6, and yeah, you could call it a 9-piece. It's a big family,
Yeah. So when did you go from searching like Melody Maker and like looking to join a band and like getting confused by indie and Indian bands to then going, all right, I'm going to start my own baby?
It took a few years, and I had a couple of sort of not very successful projects. But yeah, in 2002, I started recording some demos, and I had the name the Urban Voodoo Machine, and I had a very clear idea of what to do, and also have a very clear idea of what not to do.
How did you get the name?
Just came to me in a dream, in a nightmare. I mean,
I got it.
like most of my songs. Most of my ideas. Just gotta be lucky to write them down, So yeah, no, I had a sort of I had a bunch of songs, and I had a name, and I had an idea of lineup and stuff as well. We started off as a 6-piece, it's grown.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's 17 years ago. It's like. Time just flies. I mean, I remember, when the Stones have been going for 20 years, and people going out, these guys are dinosaurs, we're catching up to be dinosaurs, Is
it your first album in 2009, Bourbon Soaked Gypsy Blues?
Yeah, it took us about 6 years to get our first album together. We did 3 EPs in the years before that, but it was kind of a slow beginning, but, and also it was, there was many reasons why we didn't really release an album. We didn't have the right producer and stuff like that, but yeah, 2009 was our first album, and it's still a classic to this day, if you ask me. In fact, I played it in whole on my acoustic guitar 2 weeks ago in my living room. I was like, all right,
Epic. So, yeah, did you want to play another song now?
Could do, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Any requests?
I
could do Office Lament, couldn't I guess?
I like Rather You Shot Me Down, but...
All right, okay, sure.
Up to you. Yeah.
Yeah, do that.
Okay, cool, thank you. Cheers. You have another request.
How's the angle on here?
Yeah, it's fine.
Is that good?
Yeah. Eugene just tuned in. All right, Eugene.
Hello, Eugene. You all right, mate?
All right.
All right, Paula. Especially for you, Rally Shut Me Down.
Woo.
Had a bad dream this morning. Another man by your side. Maybe I was a woman. He'd changed my wings. ready, sharp. There's tears and there's laughter. I know there's pain, sometimes joy. There's that something between us. Kill me now, and never say that you'll ever leave me. It is cold alone, and ready to shut me down. I'm ready to shut me down. I'm ready to shut me down. I'm ready to shut me down. Had a bad dream this morning. You packed your bags and ran away. Hey, hey. Don't ever leave me. It's cold alone and ready to shut me down. I'm 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 ready to shut me down.
Woo! Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Nice one. So I've got a list of band members here, but I'm going to reel them off, but they might be a little bit out of date because they're from your website, but I'll just check. Okay, so George Simmons, trombone and vocals.
Never heard of him. Next.
Slim, accordion and piano.
Of course, the main man.
Yeah. Reverend Gavin Smith, upright bass.
He's been this Reverend has been there plucking that dog-ass bass since day one. And he still hasn't, you know, turned me onto God. But, you know, he's a good man.
He's trying, yeah. And then we got, it says on the website, the late J. Ronnie Mode on drums.
Of course, the Green Gentle Giant. He's also been there since day one.
Yeah. And then we got, is it Jerry on drums and cajon?
It's Gary.
Gary, with a J.
It's spelled, you know, the reason it spells it with a J. It was just starting off as a J, because we had the, you know, Jim Jones. He was, you know, he was playing drums as well, and then we had Jay, and then we had Joe Whitney. So every drummer had some started with a J. So he just said, "Oh, I could be Gary with a J."
He's just throwing me off. It's like Jorge with a J.
But anyway, yeah, that's brother Gary. Yeah, he's been there pretty much since the start as well. You know, since 2005 or something like that. You know.
Great. And then we've got your lovely wife, Anya, on saxophone and gong. And she did my amazing hair.
Yeah, it's Anna on there as well. Yeah, she's kind of semi-retired now from you know, since we had Teddy, our son, who's 6 now. She's sort of
raising the next generation of urban voodoo-ness.
Well, I'm hoping so. He doesn't show any interest in music yet, but you know. But yeah, Anna's been a great help now since we have been having this lockdown concert. So she's just joining me on the tuba, you know.
Nice.
the sousaphone, which is the big, you know, wrap around, boop, 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 that one, you know.
Yeah.
So that helps to have a little orchestra.
Yeah, definitely. And
So
then,
who
of
else you got
course,
on that list? Lucy Fire, is she on that list?
Lucifer. Yeah, baritone saxophone played by the devil himself.
Yeah, and then we got Tony Diavolo on guitar.
Yeah.
He took after he joined the band after Nick Marsh died in 2015. Yeah, which was, you know, really sad. You know, Nick had been there since the very start as well, and so that's, you know, 13 years of service. But yeah, Nick died in 2015, and we, you know, we kind of we needed someone to replace him, but at the same time, Nick was kind of irreplaceable, so we didn't sort of really put the word out there. But Tony just sort of, you know, turned up one day, and you know, it's great how things can work out, really, you know.
Yeah. No, that's
Without,
cool.
without trying too hard, you know. So yeah, Tony's been there on the guitar. He's doing a great job. And then we got Mademoiselle Chanois on the violin.
Yeah.
Great French gypsy jazz violin player. And we got Harrison the Slade Cole on the trumpet. You know, he's a proper jazz soul man, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a pretty stable lineup, this one, you know.
And I've got Joe Mongo Whitney on washboards, bouzouki and vocals.
Yeah, he's occasionally there as well, you know.
Okay, cool. So like some of your
we should update that website, I reckon. It's happening at the moment.
It's better than I expected.
Well, I think, yeah, it's going to happen in the next few weeks, actually.
It's a good time to update websites.
It's a good time to update a lot of things.
I was like, yeah, I've got time to update my website. I'm going to do that. And then I was just like, yeah, I've done it. It looks great. And then I was like, still no one visiting it. Okay, cool. Whatever. It looks good if anyone does.
The thing, I guess it's just, I guess everyone's on the internet all the time now, more than normal, because, you know, that's what we got to do, right? You're not going to be out socializing. You got to be, you know, so people are socializing on the internet and yeah, watching stuff.
That's what I'd like to go back to. Like after the lockdown is over, I'd like to just do less social media and just be one of those people that just hangs around Brick Lane and it's like an old funk guy, you know? Hey, remember me? I'm a DJ. Like, you want to hire me? Or just like be out there like the 70s all over again.
Yeah. It's going to be weird times after all of this, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you know, I mean, I'm sort of enjoying it now, you know, in a weird sort of way, you know, that, you know.
Yeah, me too. I'm thriving. I'm good.
But you know what I mean? I might as well try to enjoy it. You know, I mean, I get to spend some time with my family, which is quite nice. We haven't killed each other yet, but I mean, it might be a total different story next week. You know, so it's been 4 weeks now. Week 5, and they all stabbed each other. You know.
Everybody, okay, you can come out now. Oh, everybody's dead. They all killed each other. There's too much pressure.
I went for a walk the other day, and I just saw a lot of people just sitting in their cars. You know, they didn't look like they were driving anywhere. They were just sitting in their cars. You know, it's like,
yeah, I'm safe in here.
Yeah.
So I got a list here of like people that have influenced the band and influenced you. So I'm gonna go through them and then just tell me like people that you've met or like anyone that stands out to you that you want to talk about. So we already talked about Bon Scott, a big influence, AC/DC. Then we got Tom Waits, got the Clash, Louis Armstrong, the Pogues, and Johnny Cash. Yeah, strong influences.
Yeah, I love all those guys. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely.
Did you play shows with the Pogues?
In 2008, we were invited to come and do a couple of shows with them in the States, which was great. But yeah, and which we went and did. And they were so impressed by those shows that they invited us to do the whole UK and Ireland Christmas tour that year, which is was in 2008. Fucking hell, time flies, right?
Yeah.
So that was brilliant for us. That was even before our first album come out. I mean, you know, you're playing to 3,000 to 5,000, 8,000 people a night. You know, that was, you know, and the right sort of audience. You know, so that was really good. We got on well with the Pogues as well. So yeah, we had Spider play Tin Whistle on our first album and that, and yeah, Shane said some very nice things about us, and yeah, that was a really good experience. Yeah.
Wicked. So like with your style and your lyrics, it sort of goes right back to the 30s and the blues movement and like even old murder ballads and things like that. I mean, what are you influenced by kind of lyrically? I mean, do you like poetry like Charles Bukowski and things like that as well?
No, I just make up my own kind of stuff, really. You know, it's got to be real. You know, yeah. I don't write about sort of pretty things, really. You know.
Yeah.
But I don't like to wallow in misery either. You know, there's got to be sort of a fine line. You gotta. I like writing about miserable things, or you know, heartbreak and mental illness, and you know, the underdog, and you know, the sick stuff. But you kind of got to make a joke out of it without making a joke out of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it's not gonna be boo boo hoo. You know, it's a bit like the blues. You know, is that you kind of celebrating that it's shit. You know, or even country. You know, it's like, hey, you know.
Yeah. And what do you like? Because back in the blues days, they used to make up stories about where they got their talents from, like Robert Johnson selling his soul to the devil at the crossroads. I mean, does that sort of stuff come into your like the world you've created as well?
I definitely sold my soul to the devil.
That's what I was trying to ask. I was like, does the devil have your soul?
That ain't no myth, baby. That ain't no myth. For real. Well, you know, religion and stuff has always been in there. You know, I wrote a song called "Help Me, Jesus," which is kind of a bit of a gospel type song. You know.
Yeah.
You know, got Wilco Johnson playing guitar on that, but
nice.
Which was great. But yeah, so many people were shocked, you know, like, is he turned Christian now? He's singing "Help Me, Jesus." You know? It's like people weren't sure, you know, and and in rock and roll, man, because everything is so, you know, satanic and all that, you know. It's probably the last taboo, isn't it? You know, hey, he's a Christian.
Yeah. No,
yeah, I'm a spiritual person in many ways, but yeah, I absolutely despise and hate organized religion of any kind. It's the worst thing of humanity ever. There would have been no war, no bullshit, you know, if there was an organized religion. So that can go to fuck itself, all that.
Yeah, definitely. People using like people's beliefs to just manipulate them or just to get power or money.
Yeah.
Mm.
Absolutely.
All right, dude, we have to wrap it up in a little while, but can I ask you to tell us about the time that you met Paul McCartney?
Well, I was at a friend's wedding, and it's only a small gathering, you know. It's certainly less than 100 people, and we're sitting right at the back of the sort of chapel or whatever, you know. And then Ringo Starr comes and sits right in front of us, and it's a hot summer's day, and I'm fucking starting to sweat. Shit, you know, I can touch Ringo, and as they're playing like the you know, the music for the ceremony, which was Jimi Hendrix song, by the way, but he's sitting there tapping his feet. It's like, fuck, it's Ringo Starr. How cool is that? And then in walks Paul McCartney as well, and I'm like, oh, I'm sweating now. It's like, you know, I'm in the room. It's like less than 100 people, and there's the 2 remaining members of the Beatles, you know. But it's my friend's wedding, so I can't really go up and go. You're not going to go up to them at a wedding and start doing selfies and autographs and any of that. You know what I mean? It's just be cool, okay?
Yeah.
Just be fucking cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're hanging out, and a few hours afterwards, we're all going back to where the actual party was, and I'm sitting outside having a smoke, and I'm sitting there, you know, I got a massive red hat on and a red suit, and then Paul McCartney comes running towards me, and he's waving towards me, and I'm thinking, behind me, there's a swimming pool, and behind that swimming pool is a massive fence. So I was like, and there's no one in the swimming pool. Who's he waving at? And then he comes running up to me, and he grabs my hand, going like, hello, mate. Sorry I didn't say hello to you earlier. And I'm like, hey,
No
you're
worries.
right. You know, and yeah, we just had lots of small talk, you know, and then within 5 minutes, the whole party has sort of gravitated towards us. When I say us, I mean actually him.
Everyone's just kind of like,
Because I was like,
Paul McCartney.
you know, don't be too friendly. I thought, don't be overly friendly. Just act a bit cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was basically in the back of my mind thinking, he's going to be on our next album.
You're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
You know, I mean, he's apologizing to me for not saying hello before. I mean, it's like, yeah, you're right, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, don't do it again. Don't mug me off, McCartney.
I was just being sort of so cool, nonchalant, you know.
Yeah, exactly. All right, dude. So I mean,
But
it's difficult to say because, like, with the coronavirus and stuff, a lot of things are cancelled. But I just wanted to ask you, what songs have you got like lined up? What plans have you got when this is all over?
we have an album that's meant for release in September called Snake Oil Engine.
Snake
Obviously,
Oil Angel.
the last single, Living in Fear, is going to be on that, and the previous single, Johnny Foreigner. But yeah, so a lot of our spring dates have been, you know, rescheduled till September. So we're just hoping, fingers crossed, that that's gonna go ahead. You know,
Yeah, definitely.
I'm guessing it's gonna be a quiet summer. We had some shows in June and European festivals. They've been cancelled. I think we got a couple of one-off British club shows in July. Yeah, it's gonna be quiet. And we
Yeah.
just fingers crossed, you know, new album in September and all systems go, really. We can't wait to get out there and play to people and sweat on them.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's cool, man. No, good luck with everything. And I mean, do you want to play us out with a song?
Sure.
Do you do
You got
one more?
time?
Yeah, we got time.
Okay. What do you want to hear then?
You choose because I chose a kind of slow one then, and then I thought like maybe an upbeat one.
All right.
With that fancy silver guitar you got there.
How about this one? This one's called Cheers for the Tears. It's a story about when I died a few years ago. Well, I mean, obviously I didn't die, but it was a rumor all around London that I died because there was someone with a similar name that had died, and apparently they fell in the canal in Camden, and you know, been drunk out in Camden, fell in the canal. Everyone thought this sounded very plausible that it could have been me. Anyway, it wasn't. So my friend called me at 9:30 in the morning just to check if I was alive. I was rather annoyed. Anyway.
Okay. All right, cool.
Got a phone this morning at 9:30 at the end of the line. Lady friend said, "What's the matter, honey?" She said, "I heard he was dead." Tears fall to tears. I ain't dead just yet. Tears fall to tears now, honey. Need all your respect. Got news for you, honey. I ain't dead just yet. Got a bone drunk. Now, what you were doing around? Chinese whispers, honey. Give me a fucking drink, Cheers for cheers. I ain't dead just yet. Cheers for cheers now, honey. With all due respect, got news for you, honey. I ain't dead
Just yet.
I ain't dead just yet. All right.
Woo!
toast. Cheers for all the cheers.
Cheers for all the
I
cheers.
said just cheers. Cheers for the cheese time. With all due respect. Got to smile, honey. I ain't dead just yet.
Woo!
I go.
Woo!
Whoa!
Thank you. And Lucy,
Well, I'm warmed up now, and
all right,
and
dude.
so are the neighbours.
Thank you so much for spending some time with us, and everybody tuned in. I'm going to record this. I'll put it on Facebook, and it'll be on there tomorrow morning, so more people can watch it. And yeah, thank you so much for the interview. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Paula. Keep
No
rocking.
worries.
Viva la rock, yeah.
Viva la rock forever.
Did you see I wore my last year's award T-shirt especially for the show?
Yes, very nice. Got the merch on. Those are sold out now.
Nice one.
Right.
Thanks for that, Paula.
Yeah, cheers,
everyone.
mate. Take
Cheers.
care.
I'll see you next time. All the best.
Bye.
Bye.